everything we can to support them, and that means financially as well. I am also a supporter of making sure that we support them so fully that we say our embassy should be in Jerusalem and undivided. That is critical. Our capital is in Washington, D.C., and we should recognize Israel as well and put our embassy in Jerusalem. We also need to stand strong when it comes to Iran. We cannot allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons. That would be disastrous. This is a president, Ahmadinejad, who says that Israel is nothing but a stinking corpse. And it would be dangerous not only to Israel, but to the entire world if we were allowed that to happen. So they are truly our ally and our friend, and we must continue to support them, and that means through our dollars and making sure that they are able to protect themselves. And let me also say this about protecting yourself. The attacks that have been leveled against them by Hamas, I fully support Israel's right to defend itself and its sovereignty as a nation.
Mr. Heinrich.
Well, clearly, we will never compromise in America on the security of Israel. But I would call into question the foreign policy that this administration has pursued for 8 years. It has threatened Israel by the fact that we have so tied our resources up in Iraq that countries like Iran have become emboldened and have begun seeking nuclear weapons. We have treated the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and peace process like an afterthought, this administration. I would like to return to the responsible policies of the 1990s, when we had a president in the White House and a Congress that supported Israel, and did that by once again engaging effectively in that part of the world and making sure that terrorism is renounced, that we have a roadmap to peace. There is so much work that could be done. I remember there were several years there where there was barely any violence. Those were the good old days. We didn't get the job done. This administration has treated it like an afterthought. It deserves far more from that, from our Congress and from our administration, and that is the kind of policy that I would support out of Washington, D.C.
Mr. White, your rebuttal.
I'll stick with my position. As I stated, we have a wonderful relationship with Israel. I've made it very clear that we must continue to pursue and root out terrorists and terrorism wherever we can. Also, to that end, I supported the terrorist surveillance program, which was not supported by my opponent, which allows our intelligence officers to track calls from known terrorists into our country. So I've made my position very well known. I support Israel. I will continue to support it and work with them as the ally that they are.
Let's talk about the so-called terrorist surveillance program. There's another name for it. It's warrantless wiretapping. And we spent a lot of time listening in on our armed forces, men and women calling home to their husbands and wives and girlfriends, spying on our own soldiers. My father came here from Nazi Germany in the 1930s, and I am not going to go to Congress and turn my back on the Constitution, on the Fourth Amendment, just because it's politically expedient. That's the very reason my family came to this country, because of the incredible